All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking exactly how Indian college students in 2026 are realistically bringing in anywhere from 3,000 rupees to 15,000 rupees a month, and they're doing it with absolutely zero upfront investment. If you've ever felt like your monthly allowance just magically evaporates before the second week of the month, or maybe you're just eager to build some serious financial independence before you even walk across that graduation stage, you're in exactly the right place. We're breaking down the genuine, scam-free gig economy for students.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with a pocket money gab, move on to fast zero-cost hustles, check out the top platforms and skills, talk about building a podcast brand, and wrap it all up with the realities of traps, taxes, and payments.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the pocket money gap. Basically, the impossible task of budgeting money you just don't have.
Think about this number for a second, 2,000 rupees to 4,000 rupees. That right there is the average monthly pocket money for an Indian student. Honestly, in 2026, what does that actually get you? It barely covers your basic mess food, a monthly phone recharge, and maybe one single outing for chai with friends. It definitely does not cover that mandatory software subscription for your classes, course fees, or, heaven forbid, fixing a shattered phone screen. We're dealing with a system that's designed for a cost of living that literally just doesn't exist anymore.
So here is the harsh reality. You absolutely cannot budget money you simply do not possess. We spend so much time beating ourselves up for overspending, but the math just doesn't add up. That's exactly why side hustles have completely shifted from being just a fun little luxury to an absolute non-negotiable survival tool. Take Meera, for instance. She's a design student down in Kochi who was literally rationing her 3,500 rupee allowance by skipping breakfast 3 days a week just so she could afford her 1,200 rupees software subscription. Guys, that's not bad budgeting. That is straight up an income problem.
Moving right along to Section 2, fast, zero-cost hustles, how to bridge that gap using the skills you already have. The sheer diversity of options out there right now is just incredible. Look at these practical paths. You could dive into freelance writing like Vihan up in Nagpur. He literally covered his entire hostel rent by writing 350 rupees product descriptions for a local electronics shop. Or how about Canva design? Remember Meera from Kochi? She whipped up a pack of Instagram templates in 2 hours and sold it to a local boutique for 1,500 rupees. Then you've got Misho reselling, which is amazing because you take on zero inventory risk. Arnab in Guwahati netted an 1,800 rupee margin in a single week just by sharing kurtas and gadgets with his mom's WhatsApp group. You could even build Notion templates. Faizan and Lucknow created a super simple semester planner, tossed it up on Gumroad for 199 rupees, and pulled in over 9,000 rupees in 2 months without writing a single line of code. It's wild. Now, if you're the type of person who needs a step-by-step game plan, here is the exact 14-day launch strategy Devansh and Surat used to land tutoring gigs just by leaning on knowledge he already had. You really don't need to be a genius for this. You literally just need to be one chapter ahead of your student. He started teaching 11th grade math over Google Meet, found his first students just by posting in local Facebook groups, and strategically offered that first session totally for free to build trust. Working just 4 hours a week at $250 an hour, he was making $4,000 a month. Boom, rent paid. All right, Section 3, top platforms and skills. Let's figure out where to actually find this work and what you need to learn. What's super interesting here is this clear ladder of complexity. You definitely don't have to jump straight into the deep end. You can totally start out with smaller projects on a platform like Freelancer. The beauty of Freelancer is that it allows for easy, local UPI payments, so no messing around with annoying currency conversions. Or if you want a bit more handholding, internship gigs are great because they give you a clear brief, a hard deadline, guaranteed payment, and a certificate for your resume. Then, as you level up your skills, you seamlessly scale up to places like Upwork for those juicy long-term projects, or even TopTal if you become a highly advanced coder. But here's the catch. To actually succeed on any of those platforms, you need to build a niche portfolio. Please don't be that freelancer who says, "Oh, I do everything." According to the latest data, the skills we're looking at right now are the absolute highest demand for 2026. If you position yourself as a specialized AI prompt engineer or a shorts video editor, you are going to attract significantly more clients than if you just have some generic profile. So master just one of these, create 3 amazing free samples to prove you can do the job, and you're in business. Let's pivot to Section 4, building a podcast brand. This is all about scaling your own voice into a real business. This quote hits the nail on the head, and it's exactly why professors are practically begging students to get into podcasting. It is a massive standout portfolio piece. You aren't just sitting there chatting into the void. You are actively managing a digital product from start to finish. You're learning SEO to make sure your episodes actually rank. You're networking like crazy by interviewing guests, and you're picking up audio engineering skills. These are highly transferable, real-world skills that will make your resume virtually untouchable.
And honestly, the best part? It doesn't have to be expensive at all, no matter what tech influencers are trying to sell you. You absolutely do not need a fancy, glowing studio. You can just use free open source tools like Audacity to record and edit. And for hosting your show, getting it syndicated out to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, if you claim student hosting discounts from platforms like Blubbery, you can instantly slash your costs by 50%. We are literally talking about spending maybe $6 a month to run a global media brand right from your dorm room desk.
So how do you turn that into cash? According to Karna Raju's 2026 guide on podcast monetization for Indian beginners, these are the proven, scalable systems you can tap into once you've locked down your niche, whether that's personal finance, tech trends, or just college life. You can run pre-roll or mid-roll sponsorships, dabble in affiliate marketing, or set up a Patreon for your hardcore listeners. It's really all about converting your unique voice into a passive income engine.
Finally, let's dive into Section 5, Traps, Taxes, and Payments, the unavoidable realities of adulting in the gig economy.
You really need to understand the stark contrast here between a genuine hustle and a trap. Trust me, you are going to be approached by people hyping up these amazing passive income opportunities. Network marketing and MLM schemes specifically target college students aggressively. But cement this golden rule into your brain. A true side hustle will never, ever require you to buy inventory or fork over cash for some expensive starter kit first. Real clients pay you for the work you do. If you have to pay just to get the privilege of working, run the other way, fast. And then, of course, there's the tax man. Check out this incredibly solid advice from a Reddit community. They were replying to a 19-year-old engineering student who was earning US dollars via Binance and converting it to INR. The unanimous consensus? Establish your financial history early. Even if your earnings fall way below the 3 lakh rupee tax exemption limit, just file a nil return. Doing this prevents absolute panic down the line, keeps you 100% compliant with regulations around foreign funds, and honestly, just builds incredible financial literacy. Now, for those of you scaling up and starting to make real money, tools like Section 44 ADA make tax compliance surprisingly simple in India. You don't have to pull your hair out maintaining crazy detailed accounting books. You can literally just declare 50% of your gross receipts as your taxable profit. But regardless of taxes, build this baseline habit right now. Take 10% of every single gig payment you get and immediately stash it into a separate reserve folder on your UPI app, just in case. Earned money behaves completely differently than gifted pocket money. You've got to respect it by managing it well. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. Look, at the end of the day, perfection is really just procrastination in a fancy disguise. Spending 3 weeks obsessing over a logo and 0 weeks actually talking to potential clients is not going to pay your mess bill. The students who actually win in this economy are the ones who just stop waiting for permission. So I want you to choose a path, ship your very first messy, imperfect version, send out that cold DM, and take your first actual step toward financial independence today. Seriously, which one are you starting this weekend? Let that thought drive your very next action.